I totally hear that. And the thing that I think about as you're describing that, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about efficiency or pricing. We touched on it a little bit, but in the hierarchy of needs for clients, when you go out to the market, there are things you need to get done, things you need to get accomplished. And the longer that many clients value efficiency more than some of these other things, the less likely it is that we're going to progress them as an industry. So it would be awesome if you didn't have to save 20% year on year on cost. It'd be awesome if we can prioritize some of the things, Kasha, you were just talking about. But I think we need to, as an industry, wake up and say that we can't extract any more juice out of that lemon. We just have to move on to other things.
Well, and I would say there's so much more value to unlock in figuring out how do you be effective and what does effective mean? And especially in a cross-platform environment where we've seen so many clients over the past year who have spent so much money on walled gardens because there is an ROI calculation that relates not at all to reality, that feeds them information that says you're getting a good ROI, and they are not. And you do an incrementality test and you realize there's tons of money to be wasted. Like I feel like to your point, the effectiveness side of the business is an untapped gold mine of making clients much better than they are right now.
Yeah, and sometimes I think efficiency is a proxy for a lack of being able to measure this, because I wish publishers were coming to us, or we were able to negotiate 20% down in the same way we're getting, 20% year-on-year growth asks as well. And I think if we saw 20% incrementality in development of some of these things, of more signal or this, I think that comes with investment. And as a buyer, I'd be much more willing to pay, $50 for something that performs 10x than $10, and that exists. And again, super complicated to solve that in a fragmented environment, validate it against a real, business outcome and a measurement model and testing. And I feel like that's where we are now in the kind of signal detection stage and being able to validate them.
I think just to build on what you said, couldn't agree more. I feel like we need transparency consistently at scale across the market, and that's where I think we have a lot of work to do. Brief sidebar. I'm desperate to do a panel where the role of the procurement team is celebrated and everybody talks about what a great job they're doing and helping advertisers get value for money, but I don't think it's going to be this panel or indeed any other panel here in Cannes.
Procurement team and the consultants who run the pitches that put the pricing assignments in there that we bid to the lowest common denominator.
So look, it's evident that we need to do a little bit better. Mike, you've done some great work in this space. Are there a few examples of where, tech partnerships or what successful tech CTV partnerships look like in the space?
Yeah, I think one we started initially, we worked with Spectrum Reach on, was just kind of standardization around signals coming from the virtual MVPDs, right? Just kind of getting on the same page of what a network is being called so that you can scale that and buying. So if we're buying, these 25, 50 networks that we can get there, I think today we're buying a lot of sports, channel signals, and our sports channel signals has 375 different channels in it, right? Every channel written a different way, all the RSNs, that's tough for humans to curate. So again, I think we're in that phase of like, if we get good data, we structure it and we know where to point, then it becomes easier to implement AI and say, okay, learn from this or scale this, or, during times that live sports is on, shift to this and this. So that's been really helpful. And then we're big fans of contextual sentiment alignment, mainly because it works. And it's been a proxy for not getting show level where we can is, okay, I don't need show level. I just need the signals that are there. Again, the problem there is, even with something like an Iris ID is standard, there's, 30,000 contextual signals attached to Iris ID. So again, figuring out what works, tying it to outcomes, and then kind of letting, reinvestment in those things that may not have been intuitive or curated signals from the get-go.